What's good, everybody? Welcome to the Clearly Distorted podcast, where we discuss our clearly thought out ideas shared throughout distorted lenses. We cover the week's trending topics, ranging from social issues, sports, politics, news, and much more. I'm Damian, aka the Devil's Advocate, and that's Julian, aka the Morning and Evening Star, aka Mr. Enigmatic. This is episode 28. This week we're gonna be covering a lot. Some of the usuals, some real interesting shit. It's gonna be a lot of fun. NBA playoffs, upsets, new predictions. Tucker Carlson and Don Lemon. What a day that was. Disney claps back, sues DeSantis. The Montana House has barred a transgender lawmaker from the House floor. Tennessee Part 2. Nikki Haley, hypocrisy. Was Cleopatra black? And we got two stories to wrap this thing up that you're not going to want to miss. And I'm going to just title them Twin Trouble and Clown Love. Don't miss this segment. I assure you. Anyway, how you doing, my guy?
I'm good, man. I'm good. You know, we don't have it on the agenda, but or maybe you do, and we just didn't mention it. But Jerry Springer.
I got it. Come on,
you got it. Okay, I'm just saying, you know, whether you like him or not, he had an impact. Did he not? We'll go over that later. Yeah, I'm good though. I'm good. A lot of stuff happening this week for me. You know, personal life, just, you know,
got some new digs, new furniture rolling in.
Yeah.
Like the same old house, brand new now, huh?
Yeah, it definitely feels new. Definitely feels like a new vibe, everything. You know, stuff on my lovely fish tank, and yeah, man, it's just been a thing, man. It's just been busy at work and just nonstop, man. Nonstop. Got a wedding I'm going to. Gonna see some fam soon, and
that's dope.
Yeah, man. How about you? What's going on with you, man?
Nothing really interesting. Work is getting busy as hell, which is great. Other than that, yeah, same old same, man. Just living life and surviving.
Good, man. I'm glad to hear business is good, and yeah, man,
booming, as we say.
So we are episode 28 now. So
yeah,
that means we are soon coming to the end of the season. So
my dad texted me, right? He texted me one day, watch 27. I think maybe a day or two later, he's like, where the fuck is 28? I'm like, you gotta wait till Monday, Dad.
You know, these things they'll come, they'll get here. Well, it's funny because my boy Ruben, he's been binge watching everything, and now he's got to wait every week.
Oh, he's caught up now.
And yeah, so you know, that's been a little bit of a thing. I'm happy he's watching. So shout out to Rube. Shout out to
Rube. I love it. I love a lot of his comments as well.
Yeah. You know, he when he does the basketball comments, I can't really reply because I've shut myself out of talking to him about basketball. He gets me every once in a while to say something, and I have to just go back to it. He's got to do something before I have that convo with him.
Okay. It's gotta
that sounded really, really like not what it is. He basically has to acknowledge Steph Curry's greatness.
I knew it had to do with Steph Curry.
Before I will allow myself to, because you think about it, right? If you're talking basketball today, you can't have a conversation about basketball and just exclude a Steph Curry or a LeBron James or Kevin Durant. You just can't pretend like they don't exist because you don't like them. I'm not having that.
Right. That's kind of like how I think how we feel about LeBron. Neither one of us are his biggest fans, but we both certainly respect his ability and what he's brought to the game.
Yeah,
I actually, off the court for me.
I actually like LeBron. I do not dislike LeBron. There are things about LeBron's game that I don't like, but the problem I have with LeBron isn't so much LeBron, it's more of his fan base and the media, the way he's
Yeah, I know.
covered.
I hate his fans. I'm not even going to pretend. They're almost like, I know you don't watch football, but it is almost like Dallas Cowboy fans. It's horrible. But when LeBron steps off the square, when he gets off that court, super fan. As soon as he steps on that, I can't fucking stand him.
The flopping, the
I
whining,
just yes,
the tough guy act.
I hate all
It's
of it.
lame.
I
Yeah.
hate all of it.
But you know, they want to put him, crown him as a GOAT. I don't even have him in that conversation. I have him somewhere, maybe probably now, like maybe somewhere 14, 15 on my top 10.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I don't, this idea that he's like 2 or 3, that's a joke.
Definitely not 2 or 3 from me, but I probably have him in my top 10.
I think when he retires and his popularity dwindles a little bit and there's another superstar in the league, I think the correct context of where he sits in that imaginary, you know, top list or whatever, I think that drops for a lot of people.
Well, I mean, that happens naturally. I mean, there was a time where some of the older players were, top 10, and now, over time they get bumped out.
I mean, he's never going to get bumped out, but I do feel like when you look at like Kobe, for instance, right? If Kobe is the closest thing to MJ and MJ is the GOAT, how the hell is Kobe not considered top 10 in most lists?
Right.
It's weird.
On mine, but
he's got 5 titles. There's more than LeBron James. How do you rank him low? Anyway,
how much did you love that clip I sent about the LeBron James facts? Most losses in the finals and all of that fun shit.
Yeah, he's got more turnovers than anyone else. Like they don't want to talk about those things, but yeah. But anyway, we're getting to the basketball in a minute.
Well, yeah, we kick it right off with the NBA
want to kick
playoffs.
it right off?
Yeah,
Let's get right into the playoffs.
Get straight into it.
Oh, what series you want to start on? I want to start with Golden State and the Kings.
Of course you do.
I know you got the Nick thing, and there's a lot to talk about there. So as of this podcast, recording it's a beautiful background. Love it. Anyway. Okay, bro. Like we got it. We got it.
Just because, normally, I wear a different hat every week and switch it up. I'm not taking this fucking hat off. So get used to it.
The shower god, are you showering with that hat on?
I meant for the podcast. Like,
okay.
This will be here until the Knicks are no more.
All right. Well, let's hope that you have it on for quite a while.
I don't think we need much hope, but we'll get to that.
Okay. So, Reyes, you hearing this, right? Okay. So anyway, so here's the thing.
Yeah.
As of recording this, Sacramento just tied the series and is now 6-6 going into a game 7. I mean 3-3 going into a game 7. And I think Sacramento's going to win the series. I think Golden State blew it. I felt their energy was not right. It wasn't there. I felt like they lacked confidence. You know what? I said it last night, and this is really vulgar, but you know me. But I said, it looked like they had that game in Sacramento. They went home and celebrated, got a bunch of strippers, all got like blowjobs all night, fucked around, partied, and then came into the game looking like they wanted to go home and go to sleep. That's the vibe that I felt. There was no sense of urgency. Steph Curry in the fourth quarter turned it up a little bit, but it was already a lost cause. I don't know what's going on with their bench. I don't know what happened. It was a total meltdown, collapse.
I agree that was a total meltdown, but I think you're overthinking it a bit. They were down. They were down 0-2. They went on a 3-game winning streak, and they were feeling themselves. In their minds, they had it in the bag. I think they took Sacramento lightly. Figured, all they got to do is just win one more, right? Sacramento got to win 2 more. So the pressure wasn't there. And
it's there now.
It's there now. And I think that's what it's like, we were talking last week with the light switch. It's almost like they need that kind of situation to play their best. So just like I thought it would, it's going to game 7. And I do believe that Golden State will pull it out in Sacramento. I think it'll be a close game, but
I'm such of a Steph Curry and Golden State fan, but what I saw yesterday, for the first time this season, I have real doubt. I do think that the winner of this series wins the whole thing. So it's not a case of that I've lost faith in the team. I just don't know if they're going to come out in Sacramento and take care of business. I hope so. But again, I also like Sacramento.
Yeah.
So I'd be interested to see how they would fare off. But
I just wonder how far Fox can go with that finger like that. You know what I mean?
He's fine. He's fine. He's fine. I mean, I don't think it's he's shooting okay. He's handling the ball. He's fine. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I hope Golden State pulls it out, but it's good for the league. Obviously, it would be great for the league to see LeBron and Steph go at it again. I think that's what everybody wants to see. But it's good for the league this year to have some of the upsets that they've had.
This has been one of the most exciting playoffs in a long time, and particularly first rounds. But I still think I still think Golden State's going to pull it off. I think Draymond's going to come out first quarter, get fired up. He's going to get a tech. He's going to set everybody off, and I think the energy is going to go from there.
Now, I will say this about the light switch, right? So certain great players need that, right? And Golden State is certainly one of those teams. The moment that they feel like they're being shortchanged or whatever, something goes on. After the game last night, Sacramento's been relatively quiet because Mike Brown, I think he understands what Golden State is. And he's like, don't poke the bear, right? Right? Unlike what's happening with the Lakers and Grizzlies, which I can't wait to talk about. But after the game, the Kings were in the locker room, in Golden State's locker room, because they were in Golden State. And they took a picture together, a whole team, holding up Klay Thompson's 4. So how this shit is. Any little bit of you like
Klay
right
Thompson
away,
is not one. He's
not what we're doing now, right? So I'm hoping that lights something in them, especially Klay. So
Klay come out and drop 40 on their ass in the first half.
Normally, like, I thought game 1 and 2, some of the officiating wasn't good, but I thought the officiating mostly was good last night.
I think across the league, the first couple of games was bad.
Rough. Yeah,
but I think they tightened that shit up.
Yeah, there was a couple of bad foul calls and no calls, but it wasn't anything where I felt like it cost anybody the game. So just hoping they play better. But next series, I guess let's get into the Knicks coming up, beating Cleveland 4-1. Total surprise for me. Cleveland had nothing for them. And I gotta say, Brunson, like Fox, is emerging. Even when he's not having the best game, he's
still impacts the game.
You're looking at him as the reason why they're so successful. And yeah, I'm really impressed. And then Miami, I got to talk about Miami before we get into this. Miami, they beat the Bucks. They beat the Milwaukee Bucks, the number 1 seed. Miami was a play-in. Jimmy Butler, arguably the best player in the playoffs right now. And Arguably, I'm not saying he definitely is, but I
Scored
mean, he had
100 points in 2 games. I mean,
and he
definitely.
had a 50 piece. So like, I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, you can't deny what he's doing. Now, there's some coaching issues
Oh,
with the Bucks. They weren't double teaming him, which I find absurd. Giannis had said that he wanted to guard him a lot more than what he did. Um, and there were just a lot of problems there as far as the coaching. So I think their coach, I think he's getting fired. I think, Giannis' statement, I loved his statement at the end of the game. It was heartfelt. I understand it in the grand scheme of things, but this year was a failure for them. Now, I'm not going to get into that because we've talked about that a lot, but I just want to ask you a question. Was the Miami Heat's win over the Bucks, is this fool's gold? Is this a case where it's Miami played amazing and did it, or is it more so because the Bucks just failed?
I don't want to take anything away from what Miami did,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think it was solely because of what they did. The the Bucks shit the bed. It's not like Miami beat the best Bucks, right? Giannis missed
2.5 games.
three more. I think he only played 11 minutes in the first
11
game,
minutes in the
and
first
then
game, yeah.
missed the next 2 games.
They lost Oladipo, they lost Tyler Hero, and still they beat
Right.
Milwaukee. So something went off there. Yeah, something was really off there.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is. I mean, Spo definitely outcoached.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you want to attribute that to mostly anything, it was the coaching for sure.
That's where I would put most of the weight. The
He didn't call a timeout. You ever
he finished the game. Yeah, I think he had 2 timeouts left.
yeah.
It's crazy.
Like you're not gonna set up a play, at the end of regulation. Like you're not gonna do that. Like you're about to get eliminated, and you're just kind of like, no, like let me not do that.
Not nothing. Just let the time run. Fuck it, we go to overtime.
Yeah. So I don't know. A lot of failures there. So anyway, the Heat advance. Kudos to them. And now we got the Knicks versus the Heat. This is 1990, whatever, all over again. The rivalry, the East Coast rivalry in the last years that we haven't had, that we've missed.
It's nostalgic, but it doesn't feel the same.
It's not the same. It doesn't feel the same. But you know what I feel? I feel like some point in the series, it's gonna get chippy and it's gonna start fucking feeling familiar.
Oh, it's gonna, yeah. But I just don't, when you look at that team, when you look at Miami, like aside from Haslam, who's on the bench, like they don't have an Alonzo Mourning. They don't have oh damn, what was the other? What was oh god, I'm so bad with
PJ
names.
Tucker.
PJ Tucker, thank you. They don't have those guys on that team. So I don't know how
that see, I'm not looking at it matchup for matchup or tough guy for tough guy. I'm just looking at
that.
how
But I
the
mean, they don't
fans
have anyone with
feel.
that type of energy.
Yeah,
That's all I was saying.
yeah, but again, like it's great to see those two teams going at each other in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. But I'm trying not to be too disrespectful. My son is a Miami Heat fan, so for his sake, I'm trying to keep it cordial.
So
But
prediction for the series.
man, they don't got a shot. They don't have a chance.
Miami.
Miami doesn't have a chance.
Wow. So that would mean that the Knicks get to the Eastern Finals, bro.
Yeah.
How many games you say New York is gonna win?
This series won in 5, and I had it going 7. The Knicks handled a lot easier than I thought they would. I don't think Miami has the bigs to fuck with our bigs. Mitchell, I don't. He's not pulling boards like Mitchell.
All right.
I mean, this guy led the league in offensive rebounds. He
I
had
thought
he had more
I thought Kevon Looney did.
offensive rebounds.
Yeah.
Oh. I'm I'm talking about in the playoffs.
Oh, in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I thought it was all right, yeah, never mind.
And he had more himself than the Cavs altogether. Like he and that's the thing. So here's like some of the things from this series. The Knicks really did not play that well. They were shooting bad, but we were rebounding at an excessive rate that it just was miss a shot, rebound, put it back, close shot. Like the paint points were crazy, the rebounds were crazy.
No, you're right. You're right. Looney was like 4. Yeah. Okay.
And the bench, like I can't. I'm gonna fan out and sound crazy, so I'm trying to contain myself. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but I definitely have the Knicks winning. Um, I don't 6 maybe 6 games.
I'm gonna say
Knicks have home court advantage.
I'm gonna say the Knicks, but I'm gonna say it goes a full 7. I think
So you don't think the Knicks win a game in Miami?
well, I'm not saying that they won't win in Miami, but I do think
The Knicks are not losing in New York to Miami.
Okay. I'm going 7. And the only reason why I'm choosing the Knicks over the Heat is because I'm not sure how much of what I saw in the last series with Miami was more of a failure on Milwaukee than it was a success on Miami. I know Jimmy Butler went crazy. He always goes crazy in the playoffs.
In the playoffs, yeah.
I think
Who knows
Jimmy
him?
Butler is good enough to overcome any series. So I got it really close. I say 7 more symbolically because I think that Miami has a real shot. I got it like 51% Nick, 49% Miami. Like that's how close I have it.
Nah, it's not that close. Jimmy Butler is not going to beat the Knicks. Tibbs not going to let that happen. And who knows Jimmy Butler better than Tibbs?
I don't know.
Somebody else on the Heat is going to have a Jimmy Butler type series. That's the only way they beat the Knicks.
Kyle Lowry. I'm kidding. He might hit some good shots though.
Listen, he's pretty clutch, but it's not gonna be a Jimmy Butler show like it was. He's gonna get his points. I'm not saying that, but he's not scoring 100 points every 2 games. Like that's not gonna happen.
See, the problem of what you're saying is superstars, great players have usually their best moments
in the Garden.
Mm-hmm. So that's going to be a different kind of energy for
Spider didn't.
Spider did not, but he's not Jimmy Butler either. He's not. Jimmy Butler ranks higher than him. Spider has all the potential in the world, but Jimmy Butler ranks higher than him. Like that, that's not even debatable.
I mean, I think because of Butler's career up until now, we could say
that's what I'm talking about.
Well, yeah, but today, like if a GM was picking players, I think they
go with the younger guy, but Jimmy Butler is he's a better player. He's a better player. I know if I was a team looking for a player in that caliber, I would go with Jimmy Butler over Donovan Mitchell.
I don't know if the masses would go that route, and I'm not shitting on Butler.
You kind of are.
But I'm not.
You a little bit. You are.
Yeah. I'd probably be speaking better of him if you played for another team, but
like the Knicks.
Anybody but Miami Heat, who is the enemy right now. So
okay,
I cannot wait. Listen, you better be ready. because
Me, I don't have
everybody,
a
everybody, y'all not gonna be able to stand me with the level of shit that I'm gonna be talking. I'm telling you now, just get fucking ready,
no.
because
I am. Believe it or not, this year's playoffs, I am not 100% rooting for anyone. You know what I'm saying? This is one of the first years that I've tuned in where I'm just enjoying the show.
yeah, it's a good year for that.
You know what I'm saying? Like last year, oh man, I needed to see Golden State win. Like that was like a need because of everything that happened with Clay and the way
Right.
people were talking about him. This year, I felt like they were like, we champs, we did it, and they're kind of not really playing the way they're supposed to play. And
I
I
agree.
feel like a little bit of that happened with Milwaukee, where it's like, oh, we're number one seed, and whatever. I feel like some teams just, it was the expectation. So, whatever. And then you got all these other teams that weren't expected to do anything that are really trying. And that, at the end of the day, that's what really matters, right? It's the effort,
Yeah.
your strategies, and all of that. Not whether you have Kyrie Irving and KD on your team.
I mean, coaching is more of a more prevalent in the playoffs as well. So we've seen.
Yes, for sure. For sure. Because it's those plays here and there, certain strategies, and certain matchups that's what the coach dictates, right?
Yep.
So I guess the next series we could quickly mention, because I really don't want to dive too much into it, but um the Lakers just eliminated the Grizzlies. Now, I don't want to talk too much about the series, the X's and O's. What I want to talk about is Dylan Brooks. This guy, when you talk the shit that these guys have spoken, John Morant earlier in the year saying he don't see anybody in the West. But you don't see nobody in the West. Dylan Brooks, I'm not respecting anybody. I poke bears. Now we talked about this last week, and you're like, well, that's what he's supposed to do, and that's your vibe or whatever. But doing that to a legend who's currently still playing. Now LeBron only had like 22 points or whatever in the last game. Like it's not like he took over or anything, but he didn't fucking have to, because the whole team got up there and did what they were supposed to do, probably because of LeBron. That's
If he
their guy. That's their leader. He's a living legend. And we're not going to let these scrub ass ugly motherfuckers beat us. That shit is like, I loved it.
listen,
And I
if
I
you're
wanted the
John
Grizzlies to
Morant,
win.
who they're trying to make the next face of the league, and in his own right, he's great, and he's playing for the number 2 ranked team in the conference all season long.
Mm-hmm.
And you ask him about somebody who's in 11th seed, what the fuck is he supposed to say? I don't see nobody.
Well, that's not what they weren't asking him about the Lakers. Yeah.
I'm just saying. But in terms of the Lakers have been shit all season, so who is he supposed to be worried about?
Well, again, the context isn't correct. If they were asking him about the Lakers and he said that, you'd have a point. But he was just saying
In
he didn't see
general,
any. He didn't see any of the top teams. He doesn't see Golden State, which Golden State, by the way, eliminated Memphis last year, right? Didn't see the Mavericks. They sucked. They didn't do anything this year. Didn't even make the playoffs. Didn't care for the Clippers. Didn't care for Denver. Doesn't care for Sacramento. Nobody mattered. They just had everybody. They don't see nobody in the West. So okay, you're gonna make that statement. Well, guess what? When you get eliminated, people
right?
are gonna be
It's
playing
going to
that
come.
shit.
Yeah,
And
no,
and and
you got to be able to back it up now
and if you can't back it up, you got to be able to take it.
for sure.
And that's what's happening. So and that's why, like, I know I've been criticized for this. That's why, like, people like, yo, Jew, who's your team? And I'm like, the team I like.
Yeah, I don't like that shit.
I know, but I like the teams that I like. I don't like teams just because I'm from New York or whatever. No, it's just whatever I like.
See, but I have my team, and then I have teams that I like.
Yeah, I don't have those kind of loyalties.
Mm.
I have more loyalties towards players. So
It's to me like
if
that's like new age shit.
if
I
I
don't I
like a
don't get that.
player, if I like a player, I follow that player wherever they go until I don't like them anymore, and then I move on. The way it
I
is.
I
I
don't
know that burns a lot of people.
yeah, I don't get that. I don't subscribe to that
Oh.
type of fandom, I guess. I don't know.
So, prediction.
Yeah.
You think Golden State is beating Sacramento. So then Golden State will match up against the Lakers.
Yeah.
Who do you have in that series? How far does it go?
Golden State. Um out of respect for LeBron and what you know he's gonna bring and the fight that he's gonna bring, I'd have to say 7, but I just don't see that team matching up with Golden State when they're clicking.
I don't see the Lakers being able to keep the pace with Golden State or Sacramento. Their pace is too fast.
Yeah.
I think the Lakers' best shot of beating either one of those teams would be to steal the first, one of the first 2 games. They can steal one of the first 2 games. It helps with momentum a little bit, but if they lose those first 2 games, as the series goes down, LeBron and AD will wear down a little bit, as they always do. And I think that if it's either Sacramento or Golden State, I think it'll probably end in 6. Out of respect for LeBron, he will fight. I don't think it goes past 6. It might even end in 5. For either Golden State or Sacramento. I'm not confident Golden State wins this series against the Kings. I'm going to be so excited to see that game. Hopefully it's a good game.
Yeah,
and if Golden State pulls it out, I hope they go all the way. But if they don't, I want to see what Sacramento does for sure. They've been amazing, and that's going to be fun.
Yeah. I think for personal reasons, I hope Sacramento wins, but I think Golden State's going to pull it out.
Well, I think that's basically it. What we wanted to cover for the NBA, right?
Well, you got Boston pulled it out at the last minute against the Hawks. I mean, Hawks was looking strong that whole fucking game, and then just in the last like 2 minutes, Boston goes on 11-0 run and pulls it out. They're gonna have to they're gonna have to play a lot better than that against Philly. That shit's not gonna work.
Yeah, I guess we could talk about that. Yeah, so I don't know what the status is with Embiid.
Yeah, I don't either. He's been rested though.
If Embiid is Embiid, I think Philly has a legitimate shot at winning. But they have to really play. Like, Harden has to have a good game. Maxey has to play good. Embiid has to play good. Like, their 3 top guys have to really come out and do their thing. For Boston, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown cannot be taken time off during games and just looking lost like they tend to do sometimes. And then, my personal opinion, they need to keep very limited numbers on Marcus Smart. He hurts them a lot with his ridiculous flopping and some of his stupid turnovers and some of his stupid antics. It doesn't play well anymore. The referees see through it, and he doesn't get the calls that he used to get. He makes stupid decisions. He argues with the referees constantly. I just don't like his energy and how he fits with that team. Yeah, dye your fucking hair back to its normal color and get the fuck out of the Celtics. I don't like him on that team. But I'm gonna say,
I don't think he'll be there next year.
I'm gonna say Philly wins it in 7. I'm going Philly in 7 on that one. And then it'll probably be New York versus Philly or New York versus the Knicks. Which, you know what's funny? I mean,
Celtics.
Celtics, right? New York versus the Celtics, or New York versus, or Miami versus the Celtics, or the Sixers, or whatever. But you know what's funny? Those 4 teams in the East, they're classic teams. Knicks,
I would
Miami,
rather
not as classic.
I would rather
Philly
see
and
Knicks
Boston.
versus Celtics. I would rather see that because that, there's always that thing in every, it crosses all sports. Just the New York versus Boston, like it's.
I feel like because Philly and New York, are so close in proximity, I kind of like the idea of that, you know.
Yeah, but there's never really been any rivalry there like that. With the anything Boston, you go to baseball, it doesn't matter what sport it is. If it's New York versus Boston, it's a big deal. So I think
No,
that would
it's a big deal for
that would
sure.
bring a lot of energy to the ratings, the TV, the games, the arenas. It would be fucking crazy.
If New York or Miami, either one of these two teams, either one of them,
You said it right the first time.
make it to the final Eastern Finals, that would have been something nobody would have predicted.
That's a fact.
Nobody.
I mean, same with Miami. I mean,
That's what I said. Either one.
It's the first time that a play-in has beaten a number 1 seed. It's like only the maybe 6th time an 8th seed has beaten the 1 seed.
It's making Adam Silver look like a damn maniacal evil genius.
I don't know how I feel about the play-in. I'm still not
I
a
love
fan.
it.
I because
it makes the end of the season not worthless.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
It was
I just feel like,
worthless.
but I don't know. I just feel like if you've made the top 8, you're in the top 8. Like, just you could be in the 7th seed and not be in the playoffs.
Yeah,
I don't like that. I don't like that.
I like that. You know why I like it? Because it's like, yo, play the game. Forget your load management, play the game. There's something really at stake here. Just because you made it number 7, now you don't get to rest your players for the next, 10 games because 9, 10, and 11 are just totally out of the picture. Like, no, play the game.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's a better way to solve that same problem, but
Evil genius, bro. There is no better way. I like it.
Before we get off basketball, I saw this. I just wanted to make a note because
yeah, okay, good.
It just could be history in the making. The Toronto Raptors are interviewing Becky Hammon for the head coach position.
Wow, legend. Yeah, that would be great.
So for those that don't know, she's the head coach of the Las Vegas Aces, who just won WNBA championship. She was a long-time assistant coach for the San Antonio Spurs under Coach Popovich. So
I would love to see it.
That would be
and player, yeah.
The first, yeah, and not to mention her playing her own career on the court, but
real quick,
potentially could have the first woman basketball head coach.
That would be absolutely amazing. Definitely would love to see that. Denver or Phoenix, we might as well just cover it. I think Denver wins this pretty convincingly. I think Denver got it.
Like in 5 or 4?
In like 5, yeah.
This pains me because Denver, the Nuggets have always been one of those teams that I liked. How we said I have my team and then I have the other teams I like. Going back to Carmelo Anthony days, the Nuggets was a team that I liked, but I don't think I like them anymore.
You know what, man? I'm so sick of this Nikola Jokic slander here.
I just don't like him.
I'm so sick of this.
I didn't even say his name. Wow.
Man, you know what I think it is?
I don't know.
I'm going to just say Americans.
Oh, God.
There are certain foreign players that we just don't fuck with. And Jokic is one of them.
Yeah, I just don't fuck with him for sure. I don't think it has anything to do with where he comes from.
Is it because he's It's a white guy.
Bro, cut it
Dame,
out.
you could tell me. It's just you and I.
It's just
It's just me and you, bro. You can be honest.
yeah. No,
He
it's
ain't a
me.
brother, and you're just like, nah, he ain't that good. He ain't that good. He's hyped up. He's big. He's fucking slow. He's not exciting. His name is Jokic. He's a real deal, man. He's a real deal.
I just don't like him.
I think he's amazing. But yeah.
And it's not because he's from Europe.
Okay. Okay, fine. Do you think, whether you like him or not, do you think that Denver's gonna win, or are you going for Phoenix?
I'm rooting for Phoenix, but I think this one's I don't think it's clear cut as you think. I don't
Mhm.
I think this is anybody's series. I would say it's definitely a 7-game series.
With Kevin Durant and Booker, and Aiden, and even Chris Paul, they can come in and totally wipe the floor with Denver. It could happen. So I see what you're saying. I can see both scenarios.
I think in terms of motivation, I think Phoenix has more to play for.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely,
they got
absolutely. I would
a
agree with
little
that.
get back that they want to get. CP3, this has to be his last chance.
We've been
And
saying that for like 15 years. So I don't know. I don't know. We've been saying that for like 15 years now. Like,
and
I
then
don't know.
the move with Durant, like, was it worth it? Like, there's a lot on the line that I think they have to prove. So I'm gonna edge out Phoenix.
All right. Well, there you have it. That's our playoff. Oh, one other side note. It was fantastic seeing Jack Nicholson
Yeah,
back in LA
first time in 2 years.
for the Lakers. A couple of weeks ago, they showed a picture of him walking out of like some apartment. Look, he looked all disheveled. His
I mean, he
clothes look
still kind of
all
looked a little disheveled.
yeah, but people saying, oh, he's got dementia, he's lost it, he's a recluse, he the first appearance he made in public in 2 years is the first time anybody had able to even catch him. And then like a couple of days after that, he's walking out of somewhere and somebody's filming him and he acts like crazy a little bit.
No, I didn't see
And
that.
yeah, and then now he's at a Laker game. So I think he probably heard a lot of the murmurs and said, let me go out, but I'm glad to see him there. Jack Nicholson, he's a legend. He can look
Yeah.
crazy. And he's always looked crazy to some degree. So
Yeah, I just think, maybe seeing him look old, with the white beard and
Mhm.
that's not how I remember him. So I think that threw me off a bit. But yeah, he belongs on the sidelines, just on the Lakers sidelines, like Spike is on the Knicks sidelines. That's
yeah, yeah.
synonymous. So
Well, there we have it.
that was good.
NBA, big stuff. I know if you're not a basketball fan, this might not be for you, but you can skip through to the next segment, which we're about to enter now. So
Yeah, man. So what was it? Thursday? Friday. Bomb drops. Tucker Carlson fired from Fox News.
Don Lemon
before
fired from
before the
CNN.
smoke could even clear from Tucker Carlson, CNN was like, "Oh yeah, Fox, I see you. Top this 17-year Don Lemon, boom, gone. No explanation. Crazy. What the fuck is going on?"
So as I understand it, the Tucker Carlson situation is way juicier, right?
Yeah,
As
I
far
think
as
so.
like the text messages and Fox threatened basically to, hey, we got dirt on you. You better shut the fuck up, pretty much, and um, whew, so I want to really address the Tucker thing. I feel like this is such of a great fucking thing. Um, this is a person who's tried to become the Bill O'Reilly of Fox News
Yes.
or the Rush Limbaugh of the right. Um, and he didn't quite hit that status, but influential definitely was. My only thing is that they fired him and they're just gonna replace him with another fucking crazy. Like, it's what they're gonna do. But it is great.
I don't think so.
I think so. I really do. It's gonna be another Candace Owens, Ben Shapiro. It's gonna be one of these clown ass motherfuckers is gonna just step right in and take over.
I think whoever they find will probably be salacious, but will be controllable. That's my thought.
It's
They
still
just
gonna
had
be
to
some right wing crazy, but
they
yeah.
just had to pay nearly $1 billion, and that's just to settle one lawsuit. And the second one that's coming is probably it won't be any less than the previous. So
I would agree with you that money is going to be the motivator, right? Because you can't lose billions of dollars to protect somebody coming in there. But Fox News has always been that organization that spreads lies, and they perpetuate conspiracy theories, and they do all of these things usually without any consequence whatsoever. And because I said it, because of this thing that happened with Alex Jones, that's a domino effect now. Like,
yes,
you can't just come out there and keep making these false claims, label yourself as news, and then it's destroying lives, and we just move on. Like, that can't continuously be a thing. So I do think that companies and individuals and they're going to continue to keep suing these news organizations and these figures every time they come out and they make these false claims. The thing is, they can get someone more controlled, but they can still suggest these things and get away with it. And Fox and Friends and all the other clowns that they got on there, they're still doing these things. It hasn't changed even without Tucker. So I don't know. I'm not convinced that they've totally learned their lesson yet. But if there's a lesson to be had here, it's, hey, you got to be a little bit more honest about what you're doing. You know what it is? They label themselves as opinion pieces. That's how they've gotten away with it.
right.
It's not journalism, it's an opinion. And that's not flying anymore.
Not when you are on a news network. That shouldn't.
Right.
I think there is a conscious effort by all networks to move closer to the middle. Closer to the middle.
How do you feel about that?
I don't have an issue with it.
I do. You can't put both sides on the same equal footing. So when you say by the, in the middle,
And that's why I emphasize closer. I don't think it's going to be equal footing from either side, but I think there's going to be a leaning towards the middle.
what I don't like is you take argument A and then the opposition argument 1, right? And you put them against each other. And then you have a moderator, someone in the middle, someone who's reporting it, and they're reporting it as if they were watching two people on the street fight, right? And they're just reporting, this is a fight, this is what's happening, and this is why they're fighting or whatever. As opposed to maybe what the reality is, and it's that person started it, and that person is the instigator, and that person had no reason to do what they're doing, and now the other person has to defend themselves. So in my mind, when I think about the news, and when I think of CNN in particular, this central, moderate, whatever, centrist sort of organization, which they're not, but if you really think about like that approach, a lot of times they take the approach as if, oh, look, there goes Bernie Sanders versus so-and-so again, as if it's the same thing, as if, like both sides are equally wrong or equally correct, and they're legitimizing both sides. I hate that more than anything. I'd rather see somebody
I don't
totally on the right than see that shit.
I don't think that's what's going to happen. I just think there's going to be, like CNN, for instance, for a long time, it was viewed as a centrist broadcast, not because the views were totally centrist. The representation was more balanced. They had a large amount of Republican pundits on, as well as Democrats. And then Tucker Carlson at one point was on CNN. A lot of Fox.
It was on MSNBC.
Yeah,
Tucker Carlson. Yeah.
So I just think they've shifted left in terms of the representation, not necessarily their views. And so now I think CNN has a new owner, and I think they're definitely focused on getting more balanced, if you will. Maybe that's a better word.
Yeah, I feel like there should be a real strong distinction between journalism, reporting what's happening, and whatever an opinion piece is. So if you have a show, these are the facts, this is what's happening. Okay, we got people to voice their opinion on it. But that's all it is. It's just an opinion. Not bring people on as experts stating facts that aren't facts. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
And I think they need to really stop putting people on these shows and legitimizing people who are clearly there for the attention. A person like Candace Owens should never, ever, ever be on any major news platform. Someone like, I would say Donald Trump, they should have never put him on TV to talk about politics. Like, these people don't know what they're talking about, and it's dangerous. And yeah, so that's my opinion on the news.
I think for different reasons. I think, like I said, CNN has new ownership, and I think they want to get more balanced. I think Fox, just because of what they've been going through financially, is realizing that they probably need to chill out as well. But I think both, for different reasons, are going to start.
Or maybe CNN is looking at Fox and thinking, we don't want that shit.
Could be. What I mean, I don't think they've ever been anywhere near.
No, but you know, there's stuff that goes on behind the scenes, man, that we have no idea about.
What'll be telling is what MSNBC does.
I think MSNBC plays it pretty safe.
Man, they're so far left, it's crazy. They're
not. That's a joke. That's a myth. They're not far left. They've never been far left.
I'm not saying, when I say that, and maybe I'm not expressing correctly or the best I can. I'm talking about in terms of their representation, the people on the show, not the ideology of the network, but the representation. It's heavy left.
Joe Scarborough, who's been running Morning Joe for years, is a Republican.
A former Republican.
He's an independent now, but he's right-wing leaning.
I don't know.
Chris Matthews, who used to be there, he's not there anymore, used to be right down the middle. So they had Keith Olbermann, who was on the left, and they had Rachel Maddow, who's on the left. But everyone else, Chuck Todd, Chuck Todd, he's more right-wing or right-leaning, center-right, and he Meet the Press, you know, and like, nah, like I don't see them that way at all. Where they had Al Sharpton on there, like, stop, they're not.
Anyway, I think there's going to be a shift in news and cable news.
I would agree. They have to, with the emergence of YouTube and independent media. You know, they're becoming less and less relevant.
A reoccurring topic every week.
Every fucking week.
What the fuck is going on with DeSantis this week, right? Finally, Disney's like, I had enough. They clap back, file a lawsuit against DeSantis, alleging relentless campaign to weaponize government power. Basically, just saying he's abusing his power, which he really is. He's taking a personal issue and making it a legal thing. What I think is most interesting is where they filed the lawsuit. They chose to file it in Tallahassee, which I guess because that's where the governor is, but they could have, I suppose, filed it in Orlando. They filed it in Tallahassee, and the case gets assigned to an Obama-appointed judge who has ruled against DeSantis in the past.
Hmm.
So
here's the thing. So one, I think this is a slam dunk case, right? You can't use your government power to go after an organization because they have different political beliefs, which is essentially what DeSantis has spoken about. He's actually said it.
yes.
So you can't do that. One. Two, his opponent is Disney.
Who is the largest employer in Florida?
No, Disney is they're fucking.
It's Disney. Yeah, I get you.
Like, it's not just the biggest in Florida. It's like it's fucking Disney, right? Like,
right.
They basically own entertainment, like as we know it. Like, you just can't go against a company like that with the lawyers and the money and the backing, how beloved they are and how right they are on the issue. You're
There's not
fighting a
even
losing.
there really isn't even an issue. That's the thing.
Right. You're picking on something you can't beat. I think some of these Republicans, and I think they choose these like, they have no policies, so they tend to go after these like social issues or whatever, and I think they're usually able to bully and win a lot of these kind of battles.
That's what he's been doing.
Because people tend to take the more passive approach. But I think an organization like Disney, I think they have a brand to protect. They have their theme park to protect. And a company like that is going to do every single thing that they can do to stop anything from interrupting their revenue coming in. And not that DeSantis is affecting that drastically for Disney, but he's fucking with he's poking the wrong bear for sure.
Even I don't think that I don't think the outcome of this case is even that important, because I think even if it's in favor of Disney, he's going to do something else. He'll try and maneuver a different way. It's not going to stop. But the way that this is being perceived by his own party is not very favorable. I mean, he's already got, donors pulling back, people in his own state legislation, or, not wanting to play ball with him anymore. Everybody from McCarthy down is, and these are all people who, Trump said something, Nikki Haley said something, Marco Rubio, they're all going to be running. Even Mike McCarthy is talking about it. So I don't see this faring well for him, because the one thing Republicans have always been in support of is business. And for a Republican who wants to lead the party to be viewed as anti-business, see it going well for him.
I don't think this is going to go well for him. I think most Republicans with any common sense, they want to run away from this, and they don't want to have any association with any of this. You can scream and cry woke all day and have a problem with, Disney and some of their films and stuff. But you know what? If you do, don't watch their movies. Don't let your kids watch their movies, and do whatever you need to do. But to get up there and try to govern and create a situation where it's going to negatively affect an organization like that, you're crazy. We live in America, and this isn't the way to go.
It can negatively affect the state as well.
Yes,
so one thing Rubio said, which, I really don't give much credence to anything he says, but valid point is that this could potentially scare away businesses from Florida, businesses coming to Florida, businesses that are here and may,
right.
Have an opportunity to move elsewhere. This is not good.
Yeah,
Nikki Haley is inviting Disney to come to South Carolina. Like, what if they pack up and go? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, that would cost probably trillions, but that would be an astronomical thing to take Disney and put it somewhere else. But
the state could probably be like, man, we'll give you tax dollars, come build here. Like,
who knows? Yeah, maybe another theme park or whatever. But I don't know. All I'm saying is it's stupid. It's just stupid. You remember a couple of years ago there was some politician who went after Sesame Street. Who was it?
I don't remember that.
They didn't like something about Sesame Street. I can't remember what it was. I think it was the Ernie and Bert, being gay thing or whatever. Like they had an issue with it.
Sounds familiar.
I don't remember. But anyway, moving on. We spoke about DeSantis enough last few episodes and last week, but yeah, fucking clown ass motherfucker. But yeah, excuse me. Sorry. I'm trying not to be so vulgar, but he's a clown.
Speaking of clowns.
Uh-oh.
Marjory Taylor Green had some outlandish shit to say, which is right up her alley, but climate change is not impacted by humans at all. Just the climate does whatever the climate does, has nothing to do with us.
And what were taxpayers doing in the Ice Age, according to her? The taxpayers do anything to stop, the freezing of the earth? I don't know if what she said was hyperbole.
My head hurts already.
I don't know if what she said was at all hyperbolic or if it was just total stupidity. Like, I have this weird feeling that she believes that we had government running things in the Ice Age. I really think that's how stupid she is. Maybe she thinks it's like the animated film, right? Maybe she thinks that there was a mammoth and a saber-toothed tiger, running around with penguins and shit governing. Like, I don't know what she thought, but she's stupid. She's totally stupid. And the other comment that she made:
step parents aren't parents.
This is all in the same week. If you're a stepmother, you're not really a mother. What does it even mean? She says this in a hearing. She's grilling this lady, and she says this, guys, like, check it out. Like, just look up Marjorie. In fact, maybe not. Maybe if you just want to keep your sanity, you don't look at this stuff. This is Damian. Damian needs to protect his peace.
My head's like, I swear to God, I have pain right here.
Right.
Just talking about this shit.
But if you're like me and you're just a glutton for this shit, go look it up. It's the most absurd thing. It's so offensive. It's so stupid. And yet she's got people out there just salivating. They're loving it. They're just, they're getting boners and they just love it, right? They're just so into it. Oh, go after the liberals but she's just a clown.
Her supporters will say, well, technically speaking, if you're a step parent, you're not, that biological child. You're not that biological parent and blah, blah, blah. But like, then, how, I don't remember who it was that pointed it out, but it was someone in the same committee that basically said that that's the equivalent to saying, adopted parents aren't actual parents and that they don't, raise and care for these kids. So it's just a stupid fucking thing to say. And so am I.
And I will tell you, some of the best parents in the world are step parents. When you have a child who lost their biological parent or never had one or was abandoned, the best thing for that child is for someone else to come in, take care of them, love them, support them. And for anyone to question that in any way, they have no concept or idea of what being a parent is. And it's a horrible thing that we have a leader in government who would say this sort of shit. The Ice Age thing, as impactful as it is as far as climate and laws and stuff, yeah, I have issues with that. But it's
inhumane.
It's inhumane. Yeah,
it is. And her only point behind it was just to discredit this person and whatever she had to say. She discredited her doctorate. She was attempting to discredit everything to invalidate her opinion,
including her motherhood.
Right. But it's like, how low do you go? Like,
yeah. But anyway,
speaking of going low,
we got
last couple of weeks we've been talking about the Tennessee 3 and what the Tennessee state government has been doing to silence members of its legislation.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here we go in Montana. Montana has a transgender lawmaker named Zooey Ziffer. It could be Zooey or Zoe, Ziffer or
Yeah.
Zypher, however you pronounce it, wherever you're from.
Zooey, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
She's been banned from the House floor. She had already been silenced. They already stopped her from being able to speak because she made comments disparaging of the House leader and some other members.
Well, she said that they would have blood on their hands.
Well, this
for
was in the
passing.
most recent. Prior to that,
Right. Okay.
she had been disparaging and was ordered to apologize or would not be allowed to speak on the floor. And of course, she's refused to apologize. And now, because of the comment you just mentioned and her taking part in
Protests.
thank you. They've now banned her from the floor, so she can't even come to work.
She can still vote.
She can vote remotely. She cannot take part in any discussions on the floor, any amendments being considered or proposals. She cannot take part in. She
so
can just,
Republicans, let's
and
be
this for the
straight.
remainder of the session.
Republicans voted this,
right? Of course. I thought that goes without saying, but yes,
right.
I guess
so
it should be said.
Yeah. So let's be real. You know what this is, right? This is the same thing. They don't want to see a black man up there saying anything, and they don't want to see a trans person. She's not black. I'm making the example that what happened.
What happened in Tennessee?
Tennessee. So it's the same thing. It's like, stay in your place, stay in your lane, shut up, don't talk. We don't want to see you. In fact, I was watching Fox.
See or hear you.
Right. We don't want to know you exist, is essentially what it is. We're scared of you. We fear you. We're repulsed by you, and we just don't want to see you. So, they'll use any reason or excuse to basically, get rid of these people. Oh, they're not acting according to whatever. Meanwhile, we got plenty of Republicans out there that say things like Marjory Taylor Green that are inappropriate, and yet they remain where they're at, right? Wasn't Marjory Taylor Green, wasn't she somewhat involved in the January 6th stuff? She was. They were, I think, messages or whatever between her and some of those Proud Boy people or whatever, some nonsense like that. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Anyway, they just don't want a transgender person there. They don't want them protesting or saying anything.
It's unbelievable, like the display of audacity. Like, these people are voted in by the citizens. These are who they chose to represent them. So let them represent them. You don't have to fucking agree. That's what legislation is about. There's an issue, we discuss it, we debate about it, and then we come with a resolution. Not everyone's going to always like the resolution, but that's what this is supposed to be about, not just getting people out of the way because you disagree with them. Like, this is insane what is going on in this fucking government.
And then Fox News, I think, I'm not sure what story they were talking about the other day, but one of them was like, they're not going to, they were talking about pronouns. I'm not going to call that person a her or him if they're not. It would make me out to be a liar. And, because that was what the comment what one of them said or whatever. And
that's like saying, if your mother named you Richard, but you prefer to be called Dick, I'm not going to call you Dick.
I'd be a liar.
That's, if you want to be called Dick, I'll fucking call you Dick. I don't Richard, whatever the fuck. It's stupid.
I like that you chose Richard and Dick. Yeah, my Uncle Richie, rest in peace. He didn't like being called Dick. So a couple of times I would say, "Hey, Uncle Dick," and he'd be like, "Watch yourself, watch it." And my cousin actually did it, and he lost his shit on my cousin. But funny story, not going to tell it now. But we used to be like, "Yo, what's up, Uncle Dick?" And you didn't fuck with Uncle Dick. Uncle Dick wasn't to be fucked with, so it was pretty funny.
But so Montana is now, what this was all about, by the way, in Montana was the House voted to ban gender-affirming medical care for children, and so that's why the transgender was speaking out against and protesting against. But Montana is soon to become now the 10th state to make this ban. The Senate confirmed it after the House, and now it is heading to the governor's desk. So,
well, I got nothing more on this other than I feel like this is going to be a continuous, ongoing battle. This isn't going to be the end of it. Not even close. But
just getting started.
Just getting started. And here we are again. Another issue with people being able to speak and live the way everyone else should. You know, like it's just another group and another thing to attack.
Yeah. So if your head is not hurting enough, Nikki Haley and her hypocrisy continues.
What else is new, right? Yeah.
So just to back it up a bit, you know, a few months ago, she called for a competency test for politicians over 75 and inferred about Biden being in his prime, right? Don Lemon, host of formerly of CNN, made a comment about it, saying that she should be careful about her inferences to prime because most people consider women in their prime between their 20s and 40s. Nikki Haley being 51 would be considered out of her prime as well.
Boy, did he get some fire for that.
Yeah, he got a day off of work. I think a week or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, he apologized, I think, a couple of times. You know, she took offense to that, clearly. But then she's right back at it again. And she made a statement like Biden will probably be dead in the next 5 years. You know, it's like ageism all over again. So I just
now I'm waiting for Anderson Cooper to say, well, you're not exactly going to be alive. And they're going to, you know,
you may not be alive in the next 5 years. Who knows what'll happen?
And then he'll be suspended. Yeah.
It's
listen,
rules for thee, not for me.
Biden is old. And yes. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I can predict when Biden's going to kick it, right? Kick the bucket or whatever. It could happen at any time when you're that age, right? It could. Like, you could have a heart attack. Like, it could happen. But for her to say that, again, it's a political attack. You know what I'm saying? It really has nothing to do with anything. It's not out of concern. It's not out of anything other than just to, you know, right. What does she think? It's going to discourage people from
right. He recently announced that he was gonna run, and so now she, you know, makes the comment, and so
he
clearly
might not be alive.
It's a political attack.
Right. So I've always found that a little bit amusing when people use the age thing as a reason not to vote. Now, if you said that you didn't think Joe Biden was coherent enough because of his age or whatever, you could make that argument. But the idea that he might die and, you know, he might die in 5 years. He might die in the middle of him being president. You know what would be the real tragedy for Nikki Haley? That Kamala Harris, a woman of color, would end up being president. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe that's their big fear.
Probably. You think she's going to be part of the ticket? It's a whole different conversation.
I do though. I do.
I don't know. I do.
I'm sure she's been outstanding in the background. That was probably a bad joke. I don't see her. She doesn't do shit. I don't know. Like, she's just not really. Where is she?
Okay, so I did get it, but I wasn't sure if I got it. Netflix is releasing a documentary on the life of Cleopatra.
This is going to be a hot one.
And you know, the movie sparking some controversy as the queen, who is often reflected as a white woman, is being portrayed in this documentary by a light-skinned Black woman.
Can't have that.
God forbid. And so now, there's the uproar, and it's going to be promoting Afrocentrism and this and that. And
so here's the thing. Although there was some controversy years later when Elizabeth Taylor did Cleopatra, at the time it was very well accepted. This happens all the time, right? Hollywood whitewashes a bunch of
particularly
stories.
Movies based in Egypt, they're always presented white.
Right. As I understand it, the general consensus is that Cleopatra was predominantly, I guess, what is she considered? A Macedonian Greek? That's her ancestry.
I mean, there's today those are two separate countries. Maybe back then that was one country or region. I don't know.
Right, and with some Iranian descent. So I would imagine that she was definitely a person of color. I wasn't there. I have no idea. But it seems like Cleopatra is one of those figures that there's a bit of a tug of war there. You know what I'm saying? As far as like representation.
She's ours. No, she's ours. No, she's ours.
Right.
But yeah, I think how dare we have a Black queen?
This person isn't a white person though, right?
She's the person that's suing is Egyptian. Probably an Egyptian white person.
Right. So they have an issue with the fact that it's too Afrocentric.
Right.
That is,
though Egypt is on the continent of Africa, it should not be Egyptians should not be represented as Africans.
That reminds me of the Paul Mooney conversation about it. We was talking about like Tom Cruise is the last samurai, and he talked about Cleopatra, Elizabeth Taylor, and then he said like something like, "What's next?" Like I can't remember. Like Tom Hanks is the last, N-word or whatever. So reminds me, I can't remember.
When you say Paul Mooney, I get scared right away.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly the context of the joke, but I'll send it to you. But if I find it, but I feel like this particular conversation, it's definitely like anytime now Netflix comes out with something that's misunderstood or even anything, like it just stirs up a controversy. Yeah, so it's only going to get more eyes on it. I don't know if I'm going to watch it just because
mixed feelings about it. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I saw the trailer and it looked really good and it looked interesting. And then I was like, executive produced by Jada, narrated by Jada. It turned me off a little bit. I'm not even
or
Jada
lie. By Jada.
Right. I was like,
yeah.
We'll see.
Now maybe they should sue if Jada played Cleopatra.
I might support that.
Okay.
Talking shit.
The lawsuit or Jada?
The lawsuit.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Every Egyptian I've met or seen, and not every, but most, are my complexion. So I don't understand what the confusion is. Like, obviously, in that era, they could have looked completely different. Who knows? They could have been
darker.
They could have been darker. Interesting.
This was before Christ. This was before Christ. They still argue whether Jesus was black or white.
All right, so
they got all these pictures. They got all these pictures of Christ looking like fucking like.
I was trying my hardest to not go there, but this is true.
Well, the Bible describes Jesus as a person of color in the Bible, and
skin of bronze, hair of wool.
and there's some thing or something where somebody said that there's a documentation that Cleopatra described herself as black. I read some excerpt, I'm not too sure, whatever, but this has been the history. If you know, Black Jesus or whatever, and they got a problem with that too, because why? You know why?
Yeah.
The idea that God, supreme human, right, Jesus, came down from the heavens
And was
and
black.
was black, that just destroys everything about what they've been trying to do for the past like 700-800 years. Like,
So this has been going on thousands
yeah,
of years.
yeah. So
I'm
talking America.
True. I mean, the if you look at the evidence, I mean, if you look at the hieroglyphics and things that were found, they always presented themselves as brown people. They've always painted themselves as brown people.
Right.
So why should we think they were anything other if that's how they represented themselves? Listen, man, I came across two wild stories or situations, and they're both true. So I'm going to preface it with, these are real stories.
By the way, guys, I don't know what the hell he's talking about here. Normally we do the show prep. We basically, you know, I might have the topic, he might have the topic. In this case, he's coming at this story. He wanted to get my live reaction to it. So I don't know what's coming. So let's go.
I don't know what you want to start with. We're going to start with the twins. So these twin sisters, identical twin sisters, marry.
Sounds hot already.
They marry identical twin brothers. Right?
Okay, wait a minute. So a set of twins married another
identical.
set of twins. And it's they're important. All okay, it's important. Oh, there's gonna be a lot of fuckery here. I can see it.
Identical twin sisters marry identical twin brothers.
Don't you think that's a bad idea?
Just listen.
I gotta sit up. Hold on a second.
Because the implications, like what this could, it's just really weird. This should never even cross my mind. So we got identical twins married to each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
Both sisters get pregnant around the same time. They don't give birth exactly at the same time, but they're pretty close. They both give birth to a boy. These boys would be cousins legally. Because the parents are identical twins, genetically speaking, these two boys are siblings.
Based on science?
Genetics. DNA testing would not be able to identify which child belongs to which set of parents. They are the same. Their DNA is the same.
Do they look the same?
They look the same.
Did they give them the same name?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck their names are. But this is a true story. This shit happened in 2018.
That is a double mint commercial if I've ever seen one. You remember that gum, the double mint?
Double your pleasure, double your fun. Yeah, they have.
Yeah, there you go. See, you got it.
I remember.
Damn, you're supposed to, you know, fake laugh some of these things, man.
I'm still just caught up in the science of this.
I thought you were gonna tell me some shit like
that they slept with each other's wives and all.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because you know, like, why not, right?
I guess it's just the nerd in me, but I geeked out on this shit. I was just blown away. Like, so there's an actual term that my dumbass didn't write it.
I mean, wouldn't
Yes.
that be weird?
So the boys are there's a term for this, and they're called quaternary twins.
That's fascinating.
I thought so. That shit. Yeah.
It's fascinating. It really is. But I want to get back to the dirty here.
There's no dirty here.
No, really, like, so it brings me to a question. You're not gonna admit this, so this is gonna be totally inappropriate. But if your wife had a twin sister and they were identical,
Let's come up with a different situation other than my wife.
God, you're so sensitive,
I
man. All
just
right,
I just can't. I'm not even gonna.
look, the opposite end is way worse.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead with your
Because
scenario.
if I said if you had a twin brother, like just so okay. So your wife had a twin sister, identical, whatever. Wouldn't that be weird?
If she had a twin sister,
Yeah. Like
just
I
the
know.
fact that she had a twin sister.
No, like like when you look at her, because you know what she looks like naked.
Huh. um, I have dated twins before,
Of course you have.
and even
Wait,
let's.
whoa, 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 whoa. You dated both twins?
Well, I think the proper way to say that would be both twins dated me.
Wow. So did you peg both of them?
Uh, so what I was gonna say
Who
was
was better? Were
I
they the
never
same?
I did not know.
Wait, this was like two separate time periods or whatever?
No, I it was they one had come clean many years later.
What do you mean come clean? What you thought it was the same person?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they shared you.
Not not like that. From what I was told, there were times. It wasn't like a consistent, a regular thing, but there were times.
Anyway, I'm saying like if that would just be weird.
Yeah, I guess I never my thoughts never went where your thoughts went. So I don't know, but I guess from that aspect, that could
Well, I
be.
don't really think that way. It's just when you brought up the story and the way you were kind of leading into it, it started dawning on my mind there. Like, that would be really weird.
Yeah, and
That
that
would be really weird. Yeah. Anyway, so what's the other crazy story? That was really interesting, though.
so I titled this one "Sleeping with the Enemy." It's the name of this story.
Sounds like the first story should have been that. But anyway, yeah.
No enemies in the
Or
first story.
sleeping with the twin.
More than 30 years ago, a woman was shot by a clown in West Palm Beach.
I'm sorry. I should have known that. That's so horrible. Oh, my God. Oh, man. Stop it. Lord, forgive me. I'm sorry. Just repeat that line again. 30 years ago.
A woman was shot by a clown in West Palm Beach, Florida.
Just so many levels to that statement. Yeah, but go ahead.
The suspect, who is now married to the victim's husband, just pled guilty.
Wait a minute. They never caught the clown?
They never caught the clown.
You got to repeat this, Scott. I'm really having a hard time understanding. So, a woman was shot 30 years ago by a clown.
By a clown.
30 years later, today, or in 2018,
The suspect, who is
the
married to the victim's husband, just pled guilty.
the victim's husband. How could she be married to the victim? He could
The
be
woman,
married.
the woman who was shot was married to someone.
Right. So she died.
She died.
Okay.
The
So
husband
the clown
the husband
killed.
remarried. Yeah, the clown killed the woman.
And the husband remarried the clown.
The clown.
The clown was a female.
Yes.
So a female clown murdered a woman, got away with it, married the husband, and then confessed.
Clown shows up at the house, rings the doorbell. The wife answers. The clown hands the wife carnations and balloons and then shoots her dead.
And killed her because she wanted the husband?
Motive, all of that never been the clown never admitted to it. She was suspected all of this time. New DNA testing was able to link a hair that was found in the clown getaway car that belonged to the long suspected new wife.
Okay, so the husband already knew that she was a suspect.
No, the police suspected her.
So the husband had no idea that she was suspected.
I'm sure at some point he did, but they lived a whole life together of him not knowing.
So was she a clown by profession? Or was this just was her disguise?
It was a disguise.
That's pretty fucking genius.
And
I'm gonna dress up like a clown,
deliver some
kill
flowers,
you, and then fuck your husband and take him.
Yeah.
Wow.
So clearly
it's wild.
It's planned out. So after this DNA comes, this new DNA test comes, which this was back in 2017. She was arrested and charged for first-degree murder. She's been in jail since 2017. But she pled out to second-degree murder, which comes with a 12-year sentence. Now, she's already served 6 years. Florida allows you good time. And so with all of her good time, she's going to be released next year.
Is she still with the guy?
I don't know if they're still together. But they have she has a son. And that's interesting. I didn't see if the son was from that marriage or previous. But yeah.
What a story.
Fucking wild, bro.
What a story. I wish I would have known ahead of time. I would have prepared some jokes or something. That shit is like wild. It's crazy.
But that's how the same way you had me keep repeating those first two parts of it is the same thing I was going through. I wanted to see your brain process this.
I mean, I got questions. Like, I got real questions. Like, I mean, was she like why of all things a clown?
Because they're viewed as harmless. If you go answer you look through your peephole and you see someone dressed up as a clown.
No. If I look through my peephole and I see a fucking clown that was uninvited, there's a problem. I'm calling the cops. Like, what are we talking about here? Daym, you're telling me as
she had flowers and balloons in her hand. So you're gonna think somebody sent you flowers and balloons.
Nobody I know would do some sick shit like that.
But she didn't know her.
That's wild.
Yeah. Opens the door, hands her the shit.
I wonder if it was just a coincidence that she got away with it, met the husband, married him, or if that was the motive. Kill the wife, take the husband.
Yeah, that wasn't discussed either, but I would think that was the motive, was to get her out of the way.
Jeez. It is unique. I'll give her that, but you know, she should have just showed up at the husband, with the husband in the clown outfit and seduced him that way. Maybe that's his bag. I don't know, but
yeah, I don't even know how I came across these stories, bro. I was like, man, we gotta talk about this shit. This is crazy.
Where the hell were you to catch that story?
You know what? I think both of these were on Instagram, and then you know me. Once I see something interesting, I go research it.
Damn, that's a Netflix documentary right there.
For both of them.
Yeah, you got to send me like an article on that. I definitely want to read more into it. But Amazing, crazy, tragic. It is tragic, but crazy story.
Yeah. Well, that's it, man. That's episode 27. I mean, we got, movie music recommendations. Got a
Yep.
couple goodbyes to say, quote of the Daym, but
Well,
man,
let's get to it. So,
that was some wild shit.
good episode. Let's. So, what we got now?
Music and movie recommendations.
What
Nothing
do you got this
dropping.
week?
We blew we blew the load last week with those projects, so we got nothing this week. But Wu-Tang Song of the Week. We're making progress. So we're now on the fourth Wu-Tang album release, which was Only Built for Cuban Links, referred to as the Purple Tape. This week's song, Heaven and Hell. Oh, come on. That's a classic.
Not wouldn't have been my first pick.
It's a build-up. We're building up. It's not the best song on the album, but it actually was the first single. It was the first single release, and that's what made me go with it.
You know what would be my pick, right?
No.
Verbal Intercourse.
Nah, sure no. We're gonna get there, man.
All right.
This album is gonna have we probably come back to this next season. Be on this album for a little while. But that's all I got for this week. Music.
Well, I got some recommendations. So, in light of the new Evil Dead film that just dropped last week, I went and I saw it. Did not like it, actually. I thought it was pretty bad. Despite some of the good reviews that it's had, I thought the editing was terrible. I thought the acting was terrible. I thought the special effects were not good. It was mostly CG effects with like blood and guts, which for a film like that, it should have been more the practical effects like they did in 2013. 2013 paid tribute to the original films by using a lot of practical effects. When you have CG with like blood effects and limbs and stuff, it tends to look fake. Like you can tell it doesn't look right. It's just something really off about it. And just yeah, it wasn't really even that scary. They had a couple of moments there. Obviously, if you're easily scared, it's gonna probably horrify you, but it was just okay. I gave it like a 6. So not even okay, it's pretty bad. But anyway, so in light of that, what I'm gonna recommend is the other Evil Deads. So I'm gonna go with the what I call the I can't say this is a trilogy because Army of Darkness, which was the third movie in the franchise, took a very different turn. So Evil Dead 1 was like an old low budget film that came out. Then Evil Dead 2 was basically a remake of that one years later because Sam Raimi kind of, he became a little bit more famous. That became a cult classic. So they gave him a bigger budget now and he kind of redid it, added more comical elements. And then, so I'm recommending Evil Dead 1, Evil Dead 2, and Evil Dead 2013. If you want a, real modern version of Evil Dead, that's the definitive version. Check that one out. So those are my recommendations this week. If you like horror films, and I love them, check those out if you've never seen them.
All right. There you have it. This week's music and movie recommendations. And the part that I hate to do, but we must say goodbye to some legends. Harry Belafonte. Did you catch that one? Music legend, actor, civil rights activist, died of congestive heart failure. I think he was 96. That one was I don't know if sentimental is the right word, but he was one of my grandfather's favorites, and his music was loved by my grandfather. So that one was a little tough for me. But rest in peace.
definitely over the
96 is a
years.
long life, and
Yeah,
he's seen it all, been through it all, and he deserves the rest. So,
and definitely someone who in recent years has really been vocal and
women's rights.
for many years, but anytime he popped up anywhere, I saw this clip of him just the other day where he was talking about the start of hip hop and how it's changed to today, and it's not really what it is
Oh,
or
you
what it
got to
was meant
send
to
that
be.
to me.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. So, and actually, he was having a conversation with Paul Mooney. He was in that, so we were just talking about yeah. That
Wow.
sounds wild in itself, right? Yeah, but so yeah, Harry Belafonte, and then there's also another clip if you haven't seen it, amazing. So when they did the "We Are the World" song, uh, I guess while they were rehearsing, they all just started singing his big song, right? They're
Daylight
like, "Oh,
coming, we
we
want
wanna
to
go
go
home."
home.
Yeah, so you see all of them: Stevie Wonder,
Oh,
Smokey, Ray Charles, like Michael Jackson, Diana
you got to send
Ross,
both of those to me, bro.
all of them there. So that was pretty amazing to see that. So yeah, rest in peace, Harry Belafonte. Icon for sure.
For sure. Uh, then the news came, Jerry Springer. Man,
This is the one I wanted to talk about the most.
okay.
Not that Jerry Springer is anywhere near Harry Belafonte, but what Jerry Springer was for what we have today, the TikToks and and the trolling and the wild shit. He was like the starter of that, I feel like. I mean, obviously you had like the Morton Downey Juniors and people before him, but I feel
he
like
he
Jerry
he
Springer did something and it changed TV forever, and really not in a good way.
he's the godfather of
Of shit
salacious.
TV.
Listen, man. In high school, you wanted to get home as fast as you could to
To
catch
watch Ricky Lake.
Jerry Springer. Ricky Lake was probably on when we were going to school.
That was
Um,
another joke.
oh, yeah, you gonna have to work on this, man.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying.
Yeah, man. Jerry Springer was a cultural icon, I would say, for our age demographic. And a lot of people don't know that he was politically involved as well. He was a mayor.
Yeah.
Um, he was a mayor. I think he ran for other office. Maybe I don't think he won the election, but he had political aspirations as well. But yeah, pancreatic cancer, man, 79.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. He wasn't I don't feel like he was great for TV, but he was powerful. For sure.
Yeah, he definitely changed. It was just like, what wild shit is it gonna be today? Because it never failed.
Right.
And it would just like you would wonder, like, who it's either all fake and the greatest writer of all time existed on his staff, or someone just had the nose to find all of this outlandish shit. It just
I think as it got crazier and
it's
crazier,
probably scripted,
and I'm sure that some of the stories were real, but they just convinced the
embellished.
people before the show to just wow the fuck out.
Yeah.
Hey, where that let your titties pop out. It's great for TV. We'll just blur it out, but everybody knows that you're, you know, you're fighting and you pull the wig and all of that shit.
Might be might be a direct lineage to like Love and Hip Hop, VH1.
A lot of the stuff that we see today, reality shows and all of that,
Yeah,
that wouldn't have happened without Springer. Listen, for you youngins out
I
there,
think you're right. I think you're right.
yeah, for all of you youngins out there tuning in, you don't know who Jerry Springer is. Just go on YouTube, type up Jerry Springer shows, and just watch. And tell me that this isn't some
I'm almost
version.
embarrassed.
Yeah, it came from our generation, man. Like,
I'm almost embarrassed that I watch this shit every day. But Jerry Springer, hey,
if you had nothing else to do, because I didn't really watch it, but I watched it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just always there somewhere.
Yeah, it was. I mean, really nothing else on at that time of day.
I used to just watch basketball and hip hop
Yeah, but this was like,
videotapes.
oh, okay.
But yeah, I would see it.
Uh, and then we have Carolyn Bryant Dunham, who is the woman who lied and accused Emmett Till of whistling at her
She
and
got away
making
with it.
advances leading to his kidnapping and brutal death. Now, I never celebrate anyone's death, but sometimes I just smile.
She should have lived to go to prison. Now they'll.
I have worse thoughts than you do, so we'll just leave it at that.
Well, yeah. I don't even want to talk about that. Yeah, because my thoughts aren't exactly too great for her, but yeah. Moving
That's
on.
that for this week, man.
Well, episode 28 in the books. We got one more thing. And damn, that is a quote of the day. What do you got?
I don't know who needs to hear this, but the biggest mistake we often make in life is thinking we have time. Time is free, but it's priceless. You can't own it, but you can use it. You can't keep it, but you can spend it. And once it's lost, you can never get it back. Hope that doesn't go over your head.
Time is infinite. We're not. But I like the quote.
Okay. Oh, so what's the point of your statement?
Well, time isn't what's limited. It's us. That's all it was. I'm not.
Never said time was limited.
I didn't say you did. I was just
Oh.
making an additional point. Just
Okay. Okay.
relax, bro. Relax,
I just didn't
Brunson.
understand what you were saying.
Relax, Brunson.
Brunson.
Just relax, Tibbs. Just chill out, bro. Chill out. Just chill out, man.
That's the Brunson hand sign, if you don't know.
Good quote. I did not know.
Now every time you watch the next game, it's gonna drive you crazy because you're gonna see this all game.
Okay.
Episode 28 in the books.
His, but yeah, 28. 28. We're almost at that 30 mark, man.
Almost, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, comment, click the bell icon, can't talk, subscribe, love us. Yeah. Share this shit. Get your fam, stuff. Get all that stuff. Yeah. We really do appreciate the support. And we will be back with you for episode 29. Peace.
Peace.